Happy Monday, everybody. Monday starts the week instead of the weekend. We are here on Prop It Up, Monday edition, coming off of an action-packed Sunday. And you are going to want to stick around. We've got your complete breakdown for Monday Night Football for your props. Then we are going to look ahead to week 2 with our segment Numbers I Hope to See. These are things that we looked at over week 1 and how we think they can affect week 2 and what we're hoping the books give us in week 2. And then we are going to do our anytime touchdown score game. Gentlemen, we've got a big time weather situation for tonight. So, Matt, really quick, tell us what you have up, where we can find you, and let's start talking about the quarterbacks. It looks like it's going to be rainy. It looks like the field's going to be a little bit of a mess. Of course, these affect all of our props. What do you have up, and what do you expect from the quarterback position for Monday Night Football tonight?
College football was a good weekend, 6-2. We have a special for that. CFB $2.99 for the rest of the season. Get $2.99. It's usually $4.39, so you're saving some money on that. Hopefully, we'll build off of last week. And yes, rain, and you kind of saw what happened last night with regards to the rain. It got very sloppy. To me, that kind of takes some of this stuff out. Obviously, Aaron Rodgers plays in snow, so I mean he's used to this, and obviously Josh Allen is too. Now we're not getting snow tonight; we're getting rain, and it looks like it'll be mostly at the beginning of the game, which will probably give you some live opportunities to bet the game. But to me, when we're looking at the quarterbacks here, I'm looking at the guy who can run the ball, Josh Allen, over 6.5 rushes. You look at his numbers in his career the last couple of years against the Jets. They're not very good, but he's rushed for 133 yards and 3 touchdowns. So I think we're focusing more on the Josh Allen rushing than anything he's going to do receiving, at least early on. Some books will give you lines at halftime with regards to that. If the rain clears up, maybe you could take advantage of some halftime prop lines. But entering the game, I'm looking at Josh Allen over 6.5 rushes because I think they're going to want to do that a little bit more.
Andrew, coming to you, you've got an NFL and CFL package that everybody should get involved with. I've been saying CFL is just a cash cow. It's been a great year so far. You've got a special up, so tell us about that and then what you expect from the quarterback position tonight.
Yeah, Andy, that package has been extended to Friday. CFL and NFL combo pack, $4.99. Pretty much takes $100 off the NFL package, and you're getting me with my CFL all the way till the Grey Cup on a 13-3 run there in the CFL, and an unbelievable run there with the totals, 75% in the NFL and 80% sides run as well. Cashed a few yesterday, and hopefully we can cash more tickets tonight. Look, for weather, I understand we read into it, and it's something that's worth looking at. I feel like I take weather more into account in baseball these days than I do in football. The game script, I think, is the game script. Some teams can battle through the conditions. So I look at Josh Allen, and I look at a team at the Buffalo Bills that just have ignored their running backs for what feels like years now. I mean, they try to pass the ball as much as they possibly can and not show any love to their running backs. So Josh Allen, over on completions, is something that I have my eye on. It's 21.5 right now. You can shop around. There's some 20.5s. He's got so much talent out there, and I feel like this is a game that, although we have a good defense in the Jets, could see some points. So I'll look for his completions over. And let's not forget, completions don't mean just long plays, right? They don't have to be 20, 30-yard passes. Sometimes in weather conditions like this, you're cashing these tickets because you're getting 5, 6, 7-yard tosses consistently, and all the tosses count the same. As far as Aaron Rodgers, I actually believe that it might shock you guys, but when you go from a guy like Zach Wilson to Aaron Jones, the longest completion prop might be in play here. They haven't had a quarterback that can throw longer than 20 yards in a few years. Now they have a guy with arm strength. They have a guy that can actually throw the ball. Unless the weather is too bad, I feel like we'll see that almost immediately for the New York Jets to prove that they can actually spread the field now. I'm not trying to throw shade at Zach Wilson, but let's be real here. They've got a completely different offense now that he is riding the pine and Aaron Rodgers is over there. So I'll look for the longest completion for Aaron Rodgers, and I'll look for over on completions for Josh Allen.
You can throw shade at Zach Wilson. It's okay. Everyone else in New York has. Everyone else in New York is throwing shade at him. I'm with you guys on Josh Allen. What do I have up for today? Well, I'm actually going to go to UFC. We have a 5% play that is up in UFC. It's $9 Monday, so you can grab that now. We're on a really, really nice 7-1 run in MMA. We cashed a 5% at UFC 293 on Saturday. I do have a play up for Monday Night Football. It's a 2% play. And it's the same price as a 5% play in UFC. So you might as well go grab that while you can. Really, really excited for the results in MMA this week. So love the play. Been looking at a couple of these fighters for a few weeks. It's Noche UFC. It's going to be a great event with some great betting opportunities. So that's my $9 play, 5% in the UFC. I'm with you guys on Josh Allen. I think we all have the same opinion, and yet we all kind of picked on different props. I have him over 36.5 yards rushing. So, Matt, I got to believe if you cash your over 6.5 attempts, we're going to cash both of those together. Josh Allen had 47 rushing yards and 86 against them last year. He did not score. He did not throw for a lot of touchdowns, but he did move the ball with his legs. And with rain, I got to believe that there's going to be a lot of called plays with him. I don't trust this running game. Andrew, you did a good job talking about how they just don't really use their running backs like a traditional running back. It's not a lot of hand the ball off and get 4 yards. There's a lot of Josh Allen moving around. And this defense is good. The secondary is so good. A lot of times there's just not guys open, and Josh Allen can tuck it and run. So I like him over 36.5. Ever so slight lean to Aaron Rodgers over 33.5 pass attempts. I've talked about Aaron Rodgers and his pass attempts in the offseason because I thought that the offensive line is going to fall apart sometimes, and he's going to end up dumping it off short a lot, and he's going to throw the ball away as opposed to taking sacks. So 33.5 is actually it's a higher number than I thought. I might sprinkle it a little bit. I do like him to throw the ball a lot. I do expect some longer completions, and that passing game is certainly going to be upgraded. But Josh Allen, 36.5 rushing yards on the over, and a slight lean Aaron Rodgers over pass attempts. Matt, coming to you, let's talk wide receivers and tight ends. With weather, there's kind of a debate with rain. It's like, well, it's raining for both sides. So the defense could have trouble, keeping their footing here in the wide receivers and the tight ends. Is there anything that you like from those skill positions in this game?
I mean, that was pretty insightful stuff there. It's going to be raining for both sides, and I think that's something to consider certainly for tonight. I mean, that's why you're the host with the most there, Andy, with insights like that. Listen, I tried to guess what Jahmyr Gibbs was going to do last Thursday, and I failed miserably. And I think we all kind of failed miserably because we heard all the things that Jahmyr Gibbs was going to do and all the places he was going to go, and he never did it. And so what did we also hear this whole offseason? Oh, Dalton Kincaid, he's going to be awesome. He's going to do this and this and this and this. And I'm not trying to guess, but Dalton Kincaid, I think, like we talked about on Friday, I feel like you're going to get your best number on Dalton Kincaid tonight. It's on him to do what everybody predicted him to do. So if you do like that and you want to guess, I think he's the guy that I'm focused on the most tonight because I think, Dalton Kincaid is a guy that they're going to try and move around a little bit. And obviously they also have Dawson Knox. So that's kind of interesting. And look, I think a lot of people are going to have Stephon Diggs tonight and you're not going to sit him, but I mean, he put up some mediocre numbers against the Jets last year, 5 for 93, which is mediocre for him, and 3 for 37. Sauce covers only one half of the field, so they could try and move him away. But I mean, look, everybody's going to look at the number one wide receiver there, and I think that he might struggle a little bit tonight. So maybe it is a Dalton Kincaid night, but I'm not going to try and guess. I'm just going to let him show me that he's worth my attention going forward.
Andrew, what do you think about wide receivers and tight ends? We've got some stars on both sides of the ball, but we got some pretty good defenses here. What do you expect?
Andy, very similar to how I picked Jacoby Myers over on his receiving yards for a new team that he was on. I'm going to go over 40.5 receiving yards for Allen Lazard. He had 100 targets last year from Aaron Rodgers. He went over 40.5 receiving yards in 8 of his 10 games to end the season. And I feel like, in some key games like this, with really tight point spreads that are expected to be so close, sometimes guys that are deeper down the depth chart like him will be the guys that get the most targets versus the guys that are the number one wide receivers and number one options. And of course, like I said about Jacoby Myers on Friday, this is a buy low situation. You were seeing 50, 60, 65, higher numbers with Lazard. Obviously, with the Packers, he was a bit more of the guy with the Packers. Now he's certainly not that. But I'm going to think that at this number, at 40.5, I think Aaron Rodgers finds him and finds him early. And I might be revisiting this in our touchdown segment.
Matt, I also want to let you know it's going to be windy for both teams, but it's opposite because they're going different directions. So if you need any other weather breakdowns, I'm here for you. Matt, I'm with you with Dalton Kincaid. And actually, Matt, I have to ask you, we saw Sam Laporta. Jahmyr Gibbs disappointed, but Sam Laporta did not. He was good. Do you think maybe Dalton Kincaid can have similar success? Like I think we fade rookie tight ends, but I don't think I'm as willing to fade Dalton Kincaid just because we saw Sam Laporta have really good success in week one immediately. Does that give you some hope that Kincaid's going to be more involved?
There isn't a Dawson Knox, though, on Detroit. And so I don't know if it's one of those situations where they trust the veteran more and they keep him out there, especially if it's raining. They don't want, Kincaid to fumble. I don't know. It's like, with this whole game, like we didn't do the running backs. Like I don't want to guess the running back situation because both teams have two running backs that they're going to use. So I'd rather sit and watch tonight because if there wasn't Dawson Knox, yes, I 100% would be with you. But with another guy that they trust maybe more than Dalton Kincaid, especially in a weather situation, that's my worry in terms of trying to say, all right, Dalton Kincaid over everything.
Yeah, the Jets gave up the fifth most receptions to tight ends. That's why I kind of lean over 2.5 receptions for Dalton Kincaid. One guy I will take the under is Mecole Hardman, under 17.5 yards. It's very low, but he's the third wide receiver listed. And if they are going to use him in this offense, I think it's going to be inside close. We saw him with the Chiefs. I actually loved the way the Chiefs used him when he was healthy. They got real creative around the goal line and inside the 10-yard line, and I think that's where his real skill set is. I don't see Aaron Rodgers, gelling with Mecole Hardman as the third wide receiver on this team when he has Garrett Wilson and Allen Lazard and Dalvin Cook and Breece Hall. So I wouldn't surprise me if Mecole Hardman only had one, maybe two catches. And if those catches are closer to the goal line, he's going to really struggle to get over 17.5. It's a low number. I just don't think he gets a lot of volume tonight. So I'll give me Mecole Hardman under 17.5. Matt, you mentioned the running backs and that you're going to kind of take a wait and see approach. So, yeah, just give us a couple thoughts and leans. We don't have to play anything, but if you did have any leans, what are you thinking?
It's just, look, I don't think Breece Hall's 100%, obviously, so I think Dalvin Cook will get more of the share, but I also think Breece Hall might be the more effective of the two guys. Like, it's almost going to be, I feel like you'll get like 14 carries and 45 yards for Dalvin Cook and maybe like 5 carries and 30-something yards for Breece Hall. So it's and who's going to get used where? And then, of course, there's Damian Harris and James Cook. And it's like, well, James Cook's the better of the two, but Damian Harris is the more effective veteran. I feel like we're going to see one of the two guys have a larger yards per carry, and then we're going to see one of the guys dominate the carries. And once again, like, why I had a bad week one was I tried to guess. Heck, I thought Bijan Robinson was going to have more than 10 carries. That's my bad, apparently. They like Tyler Algier more. So I don't want to do it anymore. I'm just going to watch this week and see what happens. But I think one guy's going to be more effective and one guy's going to have more carries, but they're going to be less effective carries.
Andrew, any takes on the running backs in this game?
Honestly, Andy, I looked at it. I'd be guessing at this point. If we're going to throw out the guessing word and say that that's sometimes something we want to avoid, obviously, when we're gambling, I don't know who's going to get the attention. I don't know who's going to get the reps. And like Matt said, I tried this morning to look, to see some updates, to see quotes. If there's ever a time that you should be a quote guy, at least in my opinion, it's with props. And I haven't seen one, consistent thread of positive notes really about the running back room there and Breece Hall. So I got to stay away here. And to be honest, guys, I bet a lot of in-game props. So follow me on Twitter at McGinnis Picks. I may be tweeting out some in-game props for tonight's game.
I don't think Breece Hall is 100%. I read an article saying that they were even struggling to see if he would even be active tonight. And that was just less than a week ago. So I'm taking Breece Hall under 35.5 rushing. There's absolutely no need to force Breece Hall back if he's not 100% healthy, especially in a sloppy field. That has disaster written all over it. So I could see him getting a few carries. Matt, I'm with you. I think Dalvin Cook gets the lion's share of the carries early in the season. If you're the Jets and you think you can make a playoff run, you want Breece Hall at his best towards the end of the season and going into the playoffs. So I'm with you. I think Dalvin Cook gets a majority of the work tonight, and I don't see Breece Hall getting more than a few carries. So I'll take his under 35.5. I might take a stab at James Cook over 14.5 receiving. I feel like the books put out the same number, 14.5, on a lot of running backs. One in particular was Travis Etienne. Well, I can talk about him a little bit later. They put it at 14.5, and he was the only running back on the team that caught a pass. So it goes over easily. And James Cook, it looks like he's going to get most of the work here. He's a pretty good receiving running back. And like Andrew, you mentioned earlier, they don't line up and just hand the ball off 20 times, 25 times to one guy. They use their running backs in different ways. So this is a play that can hit in one, maybe two catches. And I think if he gets 2 or 3 catches, he sails over this pretty easily. So I'll take James Cook over 14.5. Guys, if you're watching, please hit the like button if you're enjoying this gambling content. It really, really helps us out. And give us your best prop in the comment section for tonight's game. We're really interested to hear it. We're going to be playing the anytime touchdown score game. So let us know what your favorite anytime touchdown score is. There may not be very many touchdowns, but we're going to guess and put some fun fake units on who's going to score a touchdown. So make sure you're hitting that like button and make sure that there
it is.
Already coming off of Thursday night. Andrew, I do want to come to you. You had a special teams prop, and listen, Graham Gano was a great kicker prop last year, and oh my God, could the night have not gotten worse for poor Graham Gano? Gets one block for a touchdown, and then he pulls one wide left. So, Andrew, you like the kicking props on this one. What's one play that you had your eye on?
To be honest, I like the just Bills over 1.5 field goals. But the more I look at this game, the more I hear you guys talking about the weather, the more I think that over 3.5 at plus money is a pretty good bet to make here. Primetime game. Everybody loves to bet the over. They see two talented teams. I feel like there's going to be a lot of key stops on third down between these clubs. And the Jets actually forced a lot of field goals last year. And that was kind of the key. People forget what this defense is actually capable of. I think there's been so much hype in the offseason about Rodgers and the stacked wide receiver room they have and the young running backs. But, the Bills, I feel like they could be, right in the red zone and then just play it safe. And you take the weather into account. They might not want to risk it. And let's be honest about the weather. Weather only matters when it's wind. I don't think rain is affecting it that much. It's the wind. I went to a CFL Grey Cup game a couple years ago, guys, and there were literally only points the entire game on one side of the field. That was the wind. The rain did not do anything. So I'm going to change. Initially, I was going to go over 1.5. I'm going to go over 3.5 field goals here. Monday Night Football. Bills, Jets. I feel like the talk of the town is there's so much talent out there. It's going to be a high-scoring game. Even though the Jets have a good defense, I think we're going to see field goals in this one, and I want to capitalize on it. So I'll go over 3.5 field goals, both teams combined.
Great work, Andrew McGinnis at WagerTalk.com, Matt Josephs at SportsMemo.com. All my picks can be found at WagerTalk.com as well. Gentlemen, let's take a look at numbers we hope to see for Week 2. So we all watched all of our games, followed them closely on Week 1. So now we want to look ahead to Week 2 and be prepared. It is so important to be ready when these props come out. Grabbing the best number is so important because these props move very, very aggressively. You'll see props move 2, 3, 4 yards, and that can be the difference between a win and a loss. So, Matt, coming to you, numbers you hope to see based on some of the action that you saw. I'm interested in your take in some of these games. And honestly, I would like to start with Jahmyr Gibbs. Do we just start taking his overs because the books maybe adjust because of the lack of activity in Week 1, and now we're getting a discount for Weeks 2 and 3?
It's going to be one of those interesting things. I think you could say that for a bunch of guys. I mean, listen, I think I think the Seattle game is going to be potentially the shootout we thought it was going to be, although maybe Detroit's defense is better than we think. And then, and if they keep these games a little low scoring, like in a shootout situation, I like Jahmyr Gibbs. I think Jahmyr Gibbs is one of those guys who I think will be active in the passing game. I'll go to the Thursday night game. With the Eagles, I think there's going to be a concerted effort to put DeAndre Swift in more. And certainly this is going to be one of those things, as Andrew mentions, listen to the quotes throughout the week. You already heard Nick Sirianni say after the game yesterday that it was unacceptable how little DeAndre Swift played. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean that he's going to catch passes, but if the books do adjust, Andy, and they do adjust downward, I had DeAndre Swift's receiving over. He obviously had one catch. He dropped one that might have pushed him over it. So I think DeAndre Swift's number, if it goes a little lower than the 12.5 it was, I'll be interested. And then the other side of that game, everybody's going to look at Justin Jefferson. He had a really good game, but TJ Hawkinson, I mean, the Eagles couldn't cover Hunter Henry or Mike Gesicki, and their linebackers are going to be a bit of an issue all year. So TJ Hawkinson will certainly be on my radar. And then I'll go to the Commanders game. This one with them potentially probably losing at some point to Denver. I'd look at Antonio Gibson receptions and look at that kind of thing. And I couldn't believe how much they threw the ball. So I feel like they're going to try and run it a little bit more. Maybe we see some value on Brian Robinson's carries in that game. So those are some of the players that I'm kind of looking at for next week.
Andrew, takeaways from week 1 and how it affects week 2. What are some numbers and some players that you're looking to bet on in week 2?
Yeah, I really like this segment. I think it's great, and I think it's a really good idea to look out and think ahead for what we're looking for. Number one, with Deontay Johnson being injured, I'm looking at Pickens over receptions. I'm not sure what the actual injury is going to be or the timetable or if he's going to be in. I just saw a hamstring, but Pickens caught 5 of 7 targets. I feel like he'll be targeted even more. And from what I've seen so far, I know he can catch deep passes, but I'm just going to look at receptions over yards. Mac Jones, I bet his live completions number yesterday, that one cashed. Doesn't get much easier when they're playing the Miami Dolphins, just an exploding offense, so much talent. They're going to score a lot of points every single game. The Patriots are not going to be able to win in Patriots fashion against a team like them, just like they couldn't try and do it against the Eagles. They will have to throw the ball. Otherwise, for the Giants, Darren Waller, I'm looking at him here. Obviously, what happened last night was, you can look at it as comedic, tragic, awesome. If you had the Cowboys, you can look at it in all kinds of different ways, but they get the Cardinals next week. Many people are going to be on the Giants. People are going to be liking them for Survivor. I'll be liking them for Darren Waller usage. He was their most used guy, and he still only had, 36, 38 yards, guys. I'm looking at him. I'm also looking at his longest reception over. But those are just a few things. I mean, the three of us could be here for an hour talking about props we're looking at for next week. But Darren Waller, I think, will be utilized quite a bit. And that's a game that, if they didn't already want to beat the crap out of Arizona, they're definitely going to want to now.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm looking at my guy. I had two props that I did not bet yesterday, and I have big time regrets. One was Brock Purdy over 1.5 touchdown passes. Rinse and repeat. The guy does it every single game that he starts. I mean, the Pittsburgh Steelers hype train got a little bit out of control, and it's just no matter what, this guy just throws for 2 passes. This offense is really, really good, and they've got a good matchup against the Rams. I don't think the Rams defense is nearly as good as they looked against Seattle. I think Seattle just laid a massive egg. So yeah, Brock Purdy going over 1.5 touchdown passes. One of the other props I had massive regrets on, Matt, you were on this too, is Joe Burrow under rushing. They put the number at 9.5. He looked so hobbled out there, and he ended up with 1 rush for -1 yard, which I believe was a kneel. So if they put any numbers on Joe Burrow for rushing, even if it's 3.5, I think I'd take the under. There was one play in particular where he started to jog towards the line of scrimmage and saw a defender get within 10 yards, and he just threw it right into the ground. He's not going to run. Cam Akers had 22 carries for 29 yards. That's 1.3 yards a carry, and he plays the 49ers. So no matter what, they put the rushing number at Cam Akers. I'm going under against the 49ers. Uh, Matt, you talked about the Seattle secondary was just absolutely atrocious. So I would be looking at Sam Laporta and Amon-Ra St. Brown over receptions. And then a game I followed very, very close. I had Trevor Lawrence over 1.5 touchdown passes as my 5% play at cashes. But one of the things I noticed was Travis Etienne was the only running back to catch a pass. They tried to throw Tank Bigsby one pass. It went through his hands, off his helmet, and into the hands of a Colts player. So I got to believe Tank is not going to be used a whole lot in the passing game. Etienne's number was 14.5, and he flew over that, and he was the only running back to catch a pass. I would be looking at over receptions here. If I get 2.5, I'd be ecstatic. I imagine the number's probably going to be 3.5. And I'm probably going to take it. So, and then, I mean, Miami. It's just Miami in the overs at this point. Jalen Waddle's over his longest reception continues to cash. It cashed on the second play of the game. This is going back to last year. I mean, it just goes over every time he plays with Tua. There's just, with Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle, it's too hard for the secondary to cover both of them. One of them is going to be open on every play, it seems like. So those longest receptions for the Miami receivers are certainly a cash cow. So,
Andy, I'm
right,
curious how high those get this
Yes.
year. I'm really curious how high those can get. I mean, their average play seems to be 40 yards, right? I mean, I'm curious to see what those numbers get up to.
I mean, his longest reception was 24.5. I think his second play from scrimmage, he had like a 35-yard. I mean, if it's anything under 30, I think you have to play, especially when they get in these shootouts against a team like the Chargers. Their defense isn't that good, so you got to believe these points are going to be just they're going to be a cash cow. Hopefully Tua stays healthy the whole season, because I think they're just going to be an incredible team to put into like same game parlays. I think are going to be really good for the Dolphins, but those wide receivers are something else. So. All right, let's do the anytime touchdown game. We picked our anytime touchdown players for Thursday Night Football, so let's pull up the scoreboard. I will freely admit the only reason I did good was because I went all in on Travis Kelce, and then he didn't play. So the only other one that I had was Amon-Ra St. Brown. So we see the units here. And what we're doing, guys, is we're going to pick every Monday, we're going to pick our anytime touchdown scores. We each get 5 units that we have to use. So we have to spread out 5 units. It could be all on one player. You can spread it out across a bunch of players, and then we'll keep track. So in the comments, leave us who your favorite anytime touchdown score is. See if you agree or disagree with us. And while you're watching this, please hit the like button. So Matt, coming to you, who do you like here in this game? These games last year did not have a lot of touchdowns, so it's not like we have a lot of guys to pick from. It's probably not going to be a shootout. Who did you focus on tonight?
By the way, technically, shouldn't you only be up 1 unit because you didn't technically risk the other 4 units on Kelce and the Chiefs? I mean, technically, if you get your money back, you shouldn't count that as being up. You just get that money back. Is that not correct? Am I fine? I mean, I wasn't a finance major, but is that not correct, Andrew or Andy?
He's banking the units. He's banking the units. Yeah, he's banking the units on us.
You gave me 5 units. You gave me 5
but you only
units.
used one of them.
I bet 4 of them, and they came back to me.
Yeah, but you only used one of them. The other 4 just disappear in this contest. But already you're up 6 units because you
just disappear. Well, this isn't a magic show. The units have to go somewhere.
So technically, then I should take somebody who's not playing tonight, and I just magically get 5 units, right? Is that how this game is going?
Matt Joseph's the David Blaine of the anytime touchdown game. Who do you like?
5 units on 5 units on the third string quarterback tonight, because obviously he's not going to play, so it's just going to come back to me, and I win.
Oh, I hope he comes in the fourth quarter and takes a knee just so it counts. All right, who do you like, man?
I've continued to change it, and I'm going to change my strategy slightly because usually I'm a spread the board kind of guy, but like with the rain and the forecast tonight, I'm not going to do so. So I'm taking 4 of my 5 units and putting it on Josh Allen. I mean, I think Josh Allen runs it a lot tonight. I think Josh Allen's going to call his number. He's going to run the Tecmo Super Bowl play where he runs, the left end or the right end. And I think we're going to put 4 units on Josh Allen at plus 190 to have a touchdown tonight. And then the other unit on Allen Lazard. Obviously, Aaron Rodgers and Allen Lazard know each other pretty well. So I'm going to say that Rodgers throws him a touchdown pass tonight. That one's plus 295. So 4 units on Josh Allen, 1 unit on Allen Lazard.
Love it. Andrew, where are you going with your anytime touchdown props for tonight?
Yeah, I'm going to go all in on Zach Wilson. I think he's going to have a big game. No. So the way I'm going to look at it is I'm going to go 2 units. I'm going to go. Hold on. Sorry, my sheet just ended. I want to get the exact prices for it. Anyway, I'm going 2 units on Lazard. I'm going 2 units on Wilson and 1 unit on Gabe Davis. And realistically, when you look at a guy like Lazard, I don't think his number's going to be there at that price, like Matt said, over the next few weeks. Getting that early is great. Davis, to me, is one of those guys. His volume was down as far as red zone targets last year, but there's going to be so much attention on Diggs that I feel like he's good value there. And then Wilson, I think it's the opposite of kind of how I said that he has good chemistry, Rodgers, with Lazard. Wilson is kind of like his new guy, his new young prospect that he wants to make sure he gets a touchdown in his first game with him, regular season game, so I feel like he gets it done. Sorry, I don't have the prices for you, but my page will not load right now.
That's Garrett Wilson, not Zach Wilson, by the way, for those of you listening.
Yes.
He was kidding about
the other Wilson. The other Wilson.
I will give out mine, but real quick. Yes, Andrew.
Sorry, Gabe Davis is plus 270. Just wanted to put that out there.
All right. Before I get to my anytime props, real quick, Matt Josephs at sportsmemo.com. Matt, tell everyone one more time about what you have up and where we can find you at.
Sportsmemo.com. College football the rest of the season, $2.99. Use the promo code CFB. $2.99 saves you over $100 on that.
Andrew, tell everyone about your CFL and NFL special.
$499 rest of the season for CFL, full season up until the last game of the year in the NFL. Prop sides, totals, everything in that package. Good until Friday.
I've got a 5% UFC play up. It is $9 Monday, so go grab that. That is for this Saturday's UFC Fight Night, Grasso versus Shevchenko. It's also called Noche UFC if you're looking for it. We're on a 7-1 MMA run. I am focusing on the Buffalo Bills rushing game to score their touchdowns here. They really struggled last year, the Bills did, to score through the air against the Jets. So the Jets allowed the least amount of passing TDs in the league. In the 2 games that the Bills played the Jets, Josh Allen threw for 1 touchdown and had 2 interceptions, but he rushed for 3 touchdowns, and no Bills wide receiver caught a touchdown pass. That was a tight end. So I'm going to take 3 units on Josh Allen at plus 190, and I'm also going to take 2 units on James Cook to score at plus 175. I think if the Bills are going to score, it's going to be on the ground. Those are the 2 most likely candidates to score. So my picks are 3 units on Josh Allen and 2 units on James Cook. All right, guys, that's going to do it for a Monday edition of Prop It Up. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe. Leave us a comment. And if you like the gambling comment that you've seen, make sure you check out all of our other shows on WagerTalk's YouTube channel. WagerTalk today, Monday through Friday, noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific. And don't forget about the opening line report, one of the best shows out there, breaking down the opening lines in NFL. Truly is helpful to everyone who bets on the NFL. Good luck on all your plays tonight. That's Andrew McGinnis at WagerTalk.com. I'm Andy Lang from WagerTalk.com. That is Matt Josephs from SportsMemo.com. Enjoy the game tonight and look at your bets, and we will see everyone Friday on Prop It Up.